Welcome back, Smite fans, to the raddest game of Smite you've ever seen. My name is Blazybard, and I'm joined once again by Lermy Wormy.
Hey guys, that past set was awesome, but now we're going into set number 2 for today, and this is going to be a very exciting one. We've got Hype Unit up against Elevate.
Hype. 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 Seriously though, we got Benny Q, we got Quig, we got Neo, we got Layers, we got Cascade. Whole roster of Hype Unit is just superstars. We've seen so much cool stuff from them. I don't know if you remember, Lamy, last week we saw Quig cyberbully some people by pushing them out of the purple buff, level 1. So we'll see if they're going to draft that Hercules again, and head to pick some bans whilst we take a look over at Elevate, who are, I believe, Bloogie and the Woogies, minus the Boogie.
Well, no, now they've actually got Bluegun on them, so indeed it is old Elevate plus the Bluegie instead, so now we're going to be seeing if Bluegun can really mesh well with this squad, and like we said, Hype Unit is a roster full of a bunch of superstars and also a bunch of new names as well, and Cascade has had his first split up here in the SCC, and I've been super impressed so far with his performance, so I wouldn't be surprised if Elevate want to start to focus out some of the soloing with their bans.
Absolutely. Cascade, just been an absolute pleasure to watch. And, well, we see the Amaterasu banned out by Hype, so no necessarily targets towards Cascade, so maybe. But there's the Hercules ban towards Quig. So Elevate definitely done their research. They know that Quig is going to be looking for these super aggressive, super powerful support guards.
Hey man, if you're doing the research, you certainly have picked up the right one, and if we're looking at some more bans that we need to take out, it's gotta be the meta stuff, and Olaran is certainly one of those, but I'm also expecting to see stuff like the Freya taken away, even Cthulhu, because I certainly do not want Cascade to have Cthulhu, because that seems to be kind of his signature thing. Whenever the Cthulhu is available, he's more than happy to pick that one up and pilot it over there in the solo lane, so if I'm Elevate, that's my last ban, but Freya is the last ban here for Hype Unit, and we're still waiting on what Elevate decides, but I'm betting on Cthulhu.
If it's not Cthulhu, then I'm Cthulhu scared. Yep. It's Kuzenbo.
Okay.
Oh no! Kuzenbo. It's... Wait for it.
Yamoja. Okay, I mean, that's fine too. That's not bad at all. I think this is a really great pickup too, because we've seen him have so much success before, and even all the way up into the SPL level as well, just having all that early game pressure, not to mention she just straight up does not fall off. You've got the giant walls to deal with a lot of area pressure, and it works out pretty well up against a character like Cthulhu too, because you can just wall off this giant ulting Cthulhu from going in a certain direction, and that's kind of the game plan it seems, because that's exactly what Elevate's going to pick up.
Well, they're going to draft straight into the hands of Hype Unit, potentially. I wouldn't surprise me to see the Nemesis, there we go, being picked up by Elevate. Just because I think Nemesis is one of the main counters to Cthulhu. You just take, like, a huge chunk of his health when he ults, so picking that up for them is going to be a really, really big boon. Habois, the Wave Squad, is complete over at Hype Unit. They've got both of the in-meta Wave Makers. They're going to pair it up with Little Angel Boy, so pretty good comp from Hype Unit already, I would say.
Love that pickup there of the Cupid alongside the Habois. Habois typically is used as the counter to a lot of slows, so not only will Yamoja be having those wave walls to slow down Cthulhu, but Habois is going to be there to speed up the whole team, and that's kind of also a counter pick to Cupid, and instead of having it against them, they're going to have it on their side, so that main counter straight up eliminated there for Hype Unit, and they're going to have that to deal with for themselves, and it's especially good up against characters like Nemesis, who has no tools to get away, but Elevate there have done very smartly and picked up the Rom, who is honestly a great way to deal with the Cupid. Yes, the roll does get countered out by the cripple, but you can go straight up in the sky with the Astral Barrage and not have to worry about a thing.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those ultimates. We've talked about it before, you know, it's like, Habois is looking to kill me. To the sky I go. Cupid is trying to kill me. To the sky I go. I need a little bit more time before my dash comes up. To the sky, he potentially goes. I don't know. Maybe he just walks around for a little bit more. But Capri Terra going to be banned out for Hype Unit there. Capri, I think, is really interesting. Terra as well. Two bans that we don't necessarily see. Two Guardians who we don't necessarily see. But Elevate are looking for it. And a Guardian they are going to pick up. Jing Chen. I love Jing Chen. I'm really happy with this pick. it could go either way. Although I think Cthulhu definitely more likely to be heading over to the solo side than Xingqian, but
I don't know. I'm kind of on the same boat as you. I think that Cthulhu has to be the solo pick, and Xingqian must be heading over to support. But honestly, I don't mind it either way. I think Xingqian is pretty undervalued in a lot of circumstances, and he's finally getting to see the light of day up in the SPL, and now on the SCC we're seeing it as well. But on the other side, we're seeing Cerberus followed up by a Kurnanos, which means to me that this Hubwa is going in the jungle.
I mean, it would definitely seem so. I mean, well, you never know. We could see the Cernanos take up this jungle pick, and we could see Hubwa make his way into the mid lane. Cernanos definitely has the tools in his kit to be a jungler. Do you remember when he first came out and everyone was like, guys, it's an ADC jungler. We got it. Merlin is going to get picked up here.
In the past. That goes in the old playbook, thrown back to the theory crafting days of when was your like season 4?
Season 3, season 4, yeah. Big throwback time.
Yeah, but like you said, Merlin, the final lock in here, and honestly, both these drafts are absolutely nuts. The fact that both teams got to get away with a ton of things that are super meta and counters to each other. We've got counters on counters on counters, it seems. So, I mean, if I'm going to pick a draft, I think I have to go with Elevate, but the players and their skill level, man, you can't deny that Hype Unit has that in their court.
See, I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Lamy. I'm really excited about Hype Unit's comp. I think they've really got they've got my slice of the pie in this game, and we'll have to see how each team is gonna eat it, because we're gonna get into game 1 here between these two teams. I'm super excited. Elevate looking to pick up their first, and well, I suppose it would be their only win of the third phase here, as this will be both of the last games for these teams, as well as the last game from the SEC, Lamy. This is going to be our last game together for a while.
Yeah, well, we will be starting it off here with a bang, it seems, because Quig, even though he's not on the classic Kuzumbo or Hercules, him and Benikyu are up here bullying the enemy squad, throwing out that potted plan to just put a nice bit of poke, and the frisbee tosses are going to be moderately good, but they've got to back up because the waves are coming. This just means that there's no purple right now for either side, and that means they're going to slow down the wave to keep their level 1 pressure just a little bit further in their favor.
I mean, we've seen this strategy coming out from Hype Unit pretty much every game that we've seen them play, starting at the purple buff, like aggressively just chewing out their opponents. We've seen them always on these aggressive kind of comps, and I mean, Cernanos Yamoja is about as aggressive as they come, as looking to re-engage here on the Xingqian. He levels the dash, which is very, very useful to him because he is able to get out there, but I mean, that's going to really hurt the wave clear on the side of Elevate.
Absolutely, and after this wave, we're going to be seeing level 2 for the squad of Hype Unit, so they're going to take this advanced pressure they have and head on over to the purple, though I wouldn't be surprised if we see Elevate make a rotation here. They're at their red buff right now, but if Hype Unit takes too long here in the enemy's jungle, this Nemesis might be able to have a heyday.
Potentially, and it looks like she could be looking for the rotation over. Spreen is doing just that, although I think the call has just been released that they backed off a little bit too far, but Spreen not going to let that stop him, potentially looking for the attack here. He's going to get one shot here by the Elder Harpy, but Benikyu looks like he could be in some trouble. Dashes under tower to Spreen already. Is able to find his way back out after taking some power shots there, but very, very aggressive there from Spreen. Really hungry for that kill.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see it, and Layers has now shown up, hitting that level 3 mark as well, and Hubwa doesn't necessarily have as much early game pressure as a Nemesis might, but this level 3 is huge for the Hubwa because he can actually have the carpet now, which actually gives him a little more CC than the knockup would provide, but Layers does not want to get too aggressive here, but he's going to have to back it up because Monster Bomber is going to slow him down, especially because, I mean, you need to not do these lazy backs, man. We've already seen that Spreen has gone back to base, and his speed's about to come up.
I mean, it's the perfect time for him to do so, you know. As a jungler, it's kind of, alright, fine, I've cleared my entire jungle now, I'm gonna look for a gank, and he didn't get any kills, so he didn't get the reset, and didn't go, okay, well, I can get a kill now, and then look for an invade, and then go back and restart my jungle farm, but Zed just goes back, restarts his jungle rotation. He's gonna do that classic speed buff, back harpies, blue, and then, you know, go on to the rest of the game.
Oh, nice push there by Quig, trying to get some pressure here onto the enemy, but a nice double root there for Monster Bomber will slow down the aggression, and Quake's kind of backing on up here. He's got to get some more Omi, and a nice stun onto Renjaru does keep him moderately poked out, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a jungler make their way downtown soon enough and put some pressure on this lane one more time.
Potentially, and it is Elevate who are once again in this kind of backed off a little bit position. BennyQ trying to fight them. Doesn't look like there's a rotation coming through anytime soon. Cupid's moving over to potentially look at the Oracle Harpies, but nope. Just going to go back and try and do his red buff. Leaving him alone is Renjaru. Renjaru all by his lonesome here as the support's going to back off the base, as is Quig, so this could be the start of the support rotations that we'll see into the rest of the map. And from the solo lane is slapping each other, Lummy.
Yeah, we've got two BP boys over here in the solo lane, so I really doubt that either side is going to be doing a whole lot of anything for at least a little while longer, but I'm kind of surprised that the junglers have not shown any presence on this side of the map, as I feel like, you know, if we see Cascade able to pick out this Cthulhu, or at least force the ultimate with his own, a rotation could work out, and actually with Spreen coming back after getting his Golden Blade completed, it looks like that might be the idea.
He's definitely looking for it, though. Right into his tower's Cascade. No vision available for him. He's going to force the Cthulhu under tower with his ultimate, but he will pick up that kill. And Layers, he's on his way on the rotation, but not really in a position to do anything, and not really too much to do in this situation, as Monster Bomber's making the rotation as well. Could also be potentially looking for a kill onto Layers, who's still sticking around, looking to clear this wave afterwards. Like Monster Bomber went back into the jungle, but after hearing about the sticking aroundness of the Habwa, he's looking to come back, but Elevate just looking for this blue buff now.
They're spending a whole lot of time over here, and this means that Neu now has the ability to rotate, and Bluegan can't really find the way over, and Quig has come as well, which means it's time for an all-out brawl, and he's the one that's getting stunned out here, and Quig's able to get their first return kill of the match.
I mean, if I'm going to put a kill onto anyone, of course it's going to be the support. You want to give Quig as much love and care as you possibly can, because we all know Quig is the true MVP of Hype Unit, now sitting a level above his counterpart. In all seriousness, though, it is really, really good to give that support that little bit extra of an edge, as now it's Hype Unit looking to return the invade onto the blue buff. They are going to succeed, and there's nothing really Elevate can do about it.
Not one bit. They tried to find the return there, but Monster Bomber has not farmed up quite enough yet to hit that level 5 mark, and he continues to fall further and further behind Quig, who has now actually hit level 6. And like you said, you typically don't want to throw the kill onto the support, but I mean, it's working out so far for Quig. He is just supremely overfarmed at this point, and man, if Umoja gets rolling, she's going to be able to provide the team with a whole lot of buffs and a whole lot of walls.
Well, a whole lot of buffs and a whole lot of walls is going to be perfect for what Hype Unit are probably going to want to be doing with this comp, and that is going to be objectives. So many big circles, so many high damage abilities to help secure down these objectives alongside the two hunters, so definitely be looking out for that, as everyone's just going back to farming at the moment. Over in the Oracle Harpies side of the map, though, we are going to see a small little scuffle, but Spreen is going to be able to pick them both up, getting that free vision. Jungler now looking to head over towards this left-hand side alongside the support. BennyQ, however, all by his lonesome. So Renjaru is potentially looking to get aggressive, but it's just Monster Bomber in position to do any damage. Looks like he stepped over a ward there. And vision saves lives, ladies and gentlemen, and that is a prime example.
Yeah, BennyQ's not going to be pushed up that far. He knows exactly what's going to be happening around him, and especially when you're throwing something like a Xing Chen in the support role up against a Kurnanos who does not have the CC immunity on demand. He's going to play as safe as possible when he spots him out, because he doesn't want to have to waste the beads. That's his only real safety net, right? And if he just throws them away on cooldown, then it's going to be big trouble for the Kurnanos. But good on Benny to realize exactly where he needs to position, and he's been doing great so far.
Absolutely. I mean, it's something that you come to expect from BennyQ. He's just got really, really good understanding of when and where these players are going to look for him. Layers forced to ult here in the right-hand side of the map, though, however. Mad Monster Bomber is going to trade out the ult, and now looking for potentially the big doggo. Cascade looking for an invade, but Spreen is here as well, and it could be bad news for the doggo if he tries to push anything, but 3-man rotation coming out from Hype Unit. Now it's going to be Elevate who are on the back seat. Monster Bomber and Heat here, trying to defend out this blue buff, but Cascade is going to be able to pick it up, and now the full retreat is going to sound from Hype Unit. They're using the Riptide to get themselves out of danger. Spreen looking to find something. Double Dash is going to get him into the up spout there from Layers. Knockup is going to be good, but the beads are going to find him safe away from the knockup from Cascade, so that should be the end of the fight. Blue buff in tow, and beads from Nemesis.
God, if Nemesis didn't have those beads there, Spreen definitely would have died. There were 3 members lurking around that corner that would have put the Nemesis in the ground. So, I mean, good on the Nemesis there to realize that she's got a beads or she's dead. But also, what a rotation coming out from all of Hype Unit. 4 members in total heading to that side, and yet Bluegan really wants to just come over here to the left lane and help out Renjaru, and I honestly don't think he really needs it. These guys are going to be sitting back quite a lot and farming up. I genuinely don't see a world where either of these two are feeling aggressive enough or really even safe enough to solo each other out.
Definitely 2 more late game focused hunters here in this long lane, but I do want to say the 4-man rotation over onto this right hand side from Hype Unit, that was all over a blue buff. Is that, what do you think to that? Is that a normal play? 4 people rotating over for a blue buff?
I mean, what they're thinking, right, is they've already shown Elevate they want to invade it, right? So next time they think, okay, Elevate is going to have preparations, maybe the jungler is going to be there on time, something like that. But when you're sending 4 people over there, you're prepared for the bigger fight. And that's exactly what they wanted, right? They wanted to try and find a kill there, find a lead, do something to convert all of that pressure that you're gaining into something more. And unfortunately, they weren't able to get any kills there, but they certainly did put the pressure out. And Nemesis now is quite vulnerable for the next minute or so.
And speaking of her being vulnerable, Spreen taking a big risk with that in mind, all the way up in the red side, in the blue side jungle rather, is going to be hit by the water spout, but now it's the whole blue team in trouble as the dishwasher comes through. 3 people are forced to beat there. That King Shen also coming in a lot of danger there.
I mean, you'd think so, right? But everyone still is not out quite yet, but a good Riptide from Quig does separate him. The ultimate is still available from Heat, should he want to put the pressure on, but with the only person really willing to be aggressive here is Cascade, and Cascade said, alright man, you convinced me, you can have the blue buff, you put all these people on the right side of the map once again, and my team's not really able to get ahead quite yet. So they just were not able to steal it away this time, and so he's going to be a happy little squiddle back to bullying as he typically would.
And it's definitely a late game pursuit for Hype Unit, as you said. Benny Q, Nayu, Layers, all of these characters very, very much wanting these items to really, truly get online and start swinging around this damage that they can potentially do. Although, on the other side, I mean, Bluegan and Renjaru, Merlin and Rama definitely not shy about the late game either.
Oh, not one bit. It's going to be all about the engage from Heat and Monster Bomber. We've seen this comp time and time again, and this is kind of the Hype Unit special, right? Is to send over everyone to try and make a play onto Renjaru, but here comes the rotation onto Benny instead, and beats were forced, but nothing to be done there for the poor Kurnos. Ultimate used a little bit too soon, and the beads out from the ROM means that he's going to straight up fall down.
Yeah, the ultimate there from Benny Q perplexes me a little bit. I don't really know what kind of opening he saw there. Potentially he was like, okay, well, Renjaru's in a bad position. Maybe I can just burst him down, but not quite able to find that. Does force the beats though, as you said, so a little bit of a win, I guess, but does pay for it with his life. So what kind of things is Benny Q really looking for in this lane?
I mean, he still is ahead, right? It's been all about the strange rotations coming out from Elevate. I mean, we saw that Bluegan made his way downtown to the duo lane at one point, and then that kind of stole away some farm from Renjaru. And now he's kind of suffering from it, because even though they got that kill onto Benny, Benny does hit that level 12 mark significantly faster than Renjaru, and he's gone and picked up the shell already, and that is kind of popularized recently by a lot of people valuing these block stacks. Why need an Aegis when you've just got infinite block stacks, right?
Right, and especially against Nemesis and Rama. Nemesis especially in terms of Benny Q, because that's the one that he's really going to be worrying about. When you think about it, upgraded shell gives you what? 2, 3 block stacks?
2.
2, right. That is the entire Nemesis shield auto cancel right there. You just get rid of. And I don't know if you remember the other day, but we saw a health bar completely melted. To hold that thought, speaking about melted health bars, Bomber nearly falls down here over in this left-hand lane, but he is going to be able to find his way out, but now the fight is breaking out around it. Renjaro goes up into the sky and does find BennyQ. Now that's going to fizzle out the fight. Hype Unit looking for a retreat here, but flanked on both sides are they by Renjaro. And, well, Spreen was sticking around, but he's decided to go back off there, and Renjaro has decided he's just going to take the Alpha Harpy and go back to lane.
Huge play there by Renjaro to head up into the sky and find the snipes onto Benny, and Benny barely made it out with a couple of HP to his name at the beginning of that fight, but that's why ROM is so valuable. You lose out on a kill if you're any other character, but being able to go up into the sky and knock someone down with a couple of pings from the sky, I mean, who wouldn't want to do that, right? And because ROM recently got some changes to how his clear works, by all means, you're now really able to pick him up because that's where he struggled before. He didn't have the mana sustain, he didn't have the clear, but now that he has that, he's one of the most valuable picks in the game.
I mean, yeah, the snipes have always been super amazing. Like you said, those kills, the kill potential, we've seen it used in so many different ways. We've seen it used as I'm going to finish a kill. It's been seen as I'm going to start a fight with this and just melt someone and hope the rest of my team can follow up. There's so much utility and different uses to this ultimate, and with the changes to Rama, as you said, it's definitely bringing him back into the prevalent area of the meta.
Sneaky little group in here from Hype Unit. They want to start up this Gold Fury, and by golly, they're shredding it. Two Hunters and a Hubwa, and there is nothing that Elevate can do. The snipes just came up, but Renjaro just was not ready for it. I'm surprised we didn't see any kind of contest there, especially because Monster Bomber is here. He's in the vicinity, but nobody was ready for it.
And, like, that's the kind of thing, you need to always be prepared for the Jing Chen. Monster Bomber, he does have Blink available to him. So it's like that Hype Unit really need to respect, and if they're not ready for this Jing Chen, I mean, we saw it earlier, 3 people, 2 of them beads, 1 of them was plucked straight away, and I mean, luckily they were able to get out, but if they don't respect this presence, this ultimate from the dishwasher that is Jing Chen, they're gonna have a rough time.
Oh, absolutely, but it's gonna be all about these solo lane rotations, but check out something that we've yet to see, is that Heed actually has already pushed completely through that tier 1 and put all the pressure on that right-hand side, so good on the solo laner to heavily win his lane, but it's gonna be all about Quig here, as he's able to nearly find the last hit onto the Jing Chen, but he's gonna make it out with barely an HP to his name. Renjaro and Spreen are now grouped up. Are we gonna see the re-engage?
Well, the solo rotation, as you said, is coming through, and the ultimate coming up from onto Neyu there from the Nemesis. He's going to fall down nice and quickly to Blinken, who's going to pick up the kill. Spreen now continuing his reign of terror. He's going to go onto Quake, who's going to fall down. It looks like Heat is going to force Cascade out, and the tower should be forfeit. That's going to be the tier 1, and now probably continuing to push their luck Elevate, but no, instead, look at this, backing off, looking for this more jungle farm. And then looking to spend that gold. Definitely a big win for Elevate, who are currently sitting 4 kills up and about 3k. Sorry, just a k. My bad.
I mean, we're still looking at a pretty significant lead here. They've got so much pressure in the way that the towers are, rather the lack thereof of towers in the mid and solo lane for Hype Unit. That just means there's even more room there for Elevate to get aggressive, and especially now that we're kind of reaching the point in the game where Fire Giant is kind of a maybe, maybe not question. We haven't hit the point where Fire Giant is a definite quite yet, but I mean, we certainly could see it. Last game we saw a Fire Giant this time, so, you know, we could see it again. Could happen.
We could definitely see it if Hype Unit find themselves in that position. I'm not sure Elevate quite has the manpower to tear it down that quickly, although, I mean, Merlin and Fire Stance, does anyone shred objectives quicker?
I don't think so. Not at this stage of the game at the very least, and clearly very close to the top of the player damage if you don't count the solo lane, but my man Cascade, or rather not Cascade, Heed, has been on top of this Cthulhu gameplay, stealing it away from Cascade, who we have seen pick up this character time and time again, and clearly just showing off why this character is so prevalent. The rotation just cannot be ignored, because once you're up in that big squiddle form, you have a tower's reach, really, of any target you could possibly choose. And of course, the emoji walls do exist to limit it out even just a little bit, but, you know, you still have possibly the best dive potential in the game. And a lot of the characters on Hype Unit do have pretty solid self-peel options, but at the end of the day, no one's gonna slow the squid down.
No, absolutely not. And how much can you really self-peel against pure damage and a knock-up that can hit you from basically across the lane? It's going to be really difficult. I think the only person who truly can self-peel consistently and well away from a Cthulhu is maybe a Jingwei who can just dash out of the knock-up when it comes through from the two, but no Jingwei available for Hype Unit here, so... But as you said, you know, there is a lot of potential here on HU. HU.
They're gonna have to really take this one slow though, because you see behind him, they're already getting pinged down, and the blink hit here from Monster X Bomber is gonna mean that Layers is gonna have to start to run away, and oh, the spin to win was almost necessary there, but Blugan pokes him out from the side, and down he falls, and back to your statement there, I mean, Hype units certainly have seen moderate success in some of these fights, but just not able to secure any kills, and with 4 members of Elevate charging down this left-hand side, this might be the final Tier 1 tower of Hype units to fall.
Potentially, although the rotation from Hype Unit is good so far. Cascade is right here. Doggo has rotated all the way from the solo lane. Riptide is going to be really nice there to force Blugan out position. That's going to be his blink down already at the start of this fight, so... see him getting punished for that as the Oracle Furies are engaged onto. It looks like they're split 1-1, so no extra vision onto the Gold Fury, but it doesn't actually look like anything's really going to come out of this. It looks like the solo lane is rotated, and everyone was like, whoa, okay. No need for the solo lane.
The game slows down quite a bit once the solo laners show up. You really gotta give the Cerberus and the Cthulhu some respect, but this is an Oni Fury, and it's so dangerous here for Beniki to be taking it up. But Girdle means go, and the explosions all around just mean that Elevate are gonna start this fight off right.
Elevate also there stealing the Gold Fury away from Hype Unit, who really started it up there a little bit too aggressively. Looks like Spreen is going to attempt to try and pick up a kill there onto Cupid, but it's going to be Benihue managing to find that back under the Tier 2 tower before Elevate are able to find them. Luckily, the disengage from Hype Unit is going to be good, so they're not going to lose too many lives, just Quig, but that's going to be a really unfortunate loss there of the Gold Fury. Probably the Tier 1 tower here as well, although actually forced to drop it there as Cascade makes the rotation in. Layers trying to find his way in as well, but damage just not quite good enough, and I don't think there's really anything HU can do.
I mean, in theory, they could have, but Layers was kept in combat for so long there by the minions. Not able to get the Blink Crushing Wave off means that a lot of his damage was very limited, but at the very least, this gives Hype Unit the space to be able to eliminate a lot of these Oni minions. But check it out, man. I could not really even isolate what stole that Gold Fury away, but the presence here shown from Heat and forcing literally everyone away. I mean, what can you do up against this Cthulhu? He's just so massive.
He a big boy, and stuff and things stole away the Gold Fury there. Stuff and things from absolutely everyone. It was a bit of a perplexing play there from Hype Unit. As I said, they didn't really commit to that Gold Fury, getting it all the way down to about a third. Look at these Riptides getting Hype Unit away from Heat here. Not that they're gonna really matter, as all that they wanted to do is create space, whilst Elevate picks up that Pyromancer there. They're gonna take that all the way to the bank, probably back off and buy some items here.
Yeah, I would say so, but we are getting to the point of the game where Fire Giant can be contested, and like you said earlier, Blugan is on a great character to shred through objectives. It's really easy for Merlin to just step up to a fire and pretty much erase its health bar, especially when combined with the extra power and damage coming out from a crit Nemesis too. I love this build from the Nemesis. I feel like the power build is just a little bit overrated. Why go that way? You can go this crazy crit build and get those nice 1-2 auto attack cancels with the shield that do your entire health bar.
Well, I mean, as powerful as Crit Nemesis is, I'm once again on the opposite camp. I think people like to poo-poo on ability Nem, right? But like, it's what I play, so please don't. Cascade is gonna get bullied out a little bit here over by the Fire Giant pit, and that's gonna force him back, but looks like ward control is going to go over in favor of Elevate, who have a sentry ward flat bang in the middle of that Fire Giant pit, so that's going to really help them out in terms of this control. Nehu here, he's sitting 3 levels down from this Nemesis, and that's really going to impact his impact into this fight, as up into the sky goes the Heed Cthulhu. He big. He's going to chase down Layers, who may or may not be able to get away, depending on how good he is at avoiding those big knock-up fields, and is going to be able to find the back, luckily for him, and nothing really coming of that fight, just a lot of damage.
That's so surprising, though. There was so much used on both sides, and yet no one really even found damage, right? Of course, Spreen was knocked nearly to death, but it didn't get him low enough for the kill, right? And here they go, starting up the Fire Giant, but everybody's present, and of course, Renjaru still has the snipes, and Spreen does have the ability to completely shred one of these tanks if they really do wish to, but honestly, if I'm Spreen, I'm looking to get a flank here and try and eliminate one of the hunters.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you there, as it looks like no one's going to need help trying to take down Cascade, as he's getting really shredded through there. Does manage to find his way out. Up into the sky goes Renjaru. The snipes are going to be good, but not good enough to take any damage off, well, any significant damage off of Hype Unit's health bars, pick up any kills. Fire Giant now being started by Elevate, already falling down to about 2/3 of its HP, but it doesn't look like they were looking for it in the first place. They really want this fight instead, but back to the Fire Giant they go, not able to find anything really from that push. Do Elevate, so back to the farm, back to the Fire Giant Tango.
Well, Quig is out here healing up everybody, and now that Layers is back to full health, and we've got 4 members charging down this right-hand side, and with Cascade joining him, that makes 5. 2 hunters are going to be able to swing freely away at this tower, and there's just not a chance in hell that that thing stands for more than a second. And with that falling, it means that Hype Unit might choose to retreat, but here comes the River's Rebuke, and it's about to be a spicy fight.
He taking a lot of damage, but up in that ultimate, he's not going to care, as 3 kills already going the way. 4 players dead on the side of Hype Unit before I even have a chance to react. Elevate only losing Spreen there in the process, but Cascade, the only man left standing, he's going to try and find his way out up along the top side of the map, and he's going to find his way out all right, but Elevate here in a prime position to pick up this Fire Giant, and I mean, hey, Cascade is already in base. He can't contest it.
No shot that this Cerberus is going to make it in time, and while this is happening, that left-hand side tower is basically all the way pushed, but everyone from Elevate's trying to decide what they want to do, but the call here is to reset and re-push. If I'm Elevate right now, I'm heading down that left-hand side. You can see the entire jungle is available right now, including that Gold Fury. So once they knock this one down, it's going to be good looks for them, because that's the last regular Gold Fury of the game. Up next, it's only going to be Oni and Primal Furies from here on out. So the sooner they clear that one out, the more useful Gold Furies will be on the way.
And it's a steady slope here, this graph, as we can see. Elevate now 6.5k ahead after that Fire Giant. And with this Gold Fury getting pulled down, as you said, that's only going to slip even further out of the hands of Hype Unit. But for this point in the game, and at 2-11, I still think this is a really manageable lead for Hype Unit. They've clearly been doing their farming properly, and they've clearly been trying to stay in it as much as possible, and it shows.
Yeah, you'd think so, right? But I'm super concerned right now for Nehu, who is 3 levels behind, and even a level behind the highest level on Elevate right now, and I need this Cupid to be bringing a little bit more damage. We've got 2 very auto-attack focused characters coming out from the squad, but neither of them have really been able to make an impact. They're not even near the kind of damage that this Merlin has been bringing out, or even the Rom. And of course, it is really nice to have double auto-attackers, but if you're not able to get close enough to shred through their front lines and get to the back line, then by all means, why not just pick a regular mage?
And there isn't a lot of kind of lockdown potential on Hype Unit beyond Cascade's ultimate. Like, sure, they can Rivers Rebuke someone, and if they catch someone off guard in the jungle, that's amazing, but pretty much everyone on Elevate has a way out of it besides maybe Spreen, and Renjaru could just take to the skies if he's caught out by it, so really hard to catch someone out on Elevate, because Hype Unit's comp, as much as they have damage to be able to pick up these kills, they just don't really have that secure.
They've got very little setup right, because Cascade's ultimate 9 times out of 10 is just going to be a beads burner. And of course, that's really, really nice, but everybody else is kind of lacking that really safe, regular, secure. They have the very big ultimates coming out from both the hunters, and of course Yamoja has very moderately applicable CC that, you know, is easily dodged 9 times out of 10. And a lot of the time, sometimes you just need that Sobek pluck. You need something really nice and easy that's going to set you up. Hype Unit right now have drafted for a very, very high execute comp, and it's showing.
Yeah, and Well, yeah, I mean, you summed it up perfectly. They have a lot of damage, but just no way to get it onto the board. And I mean, when Elevate are just consistently shutting them down, they have basically the opposite. The main damage coming out of Elevate is going to be from Bluegin and Renjaru, and obviously Spreen building this crit is going to be chasing people down, slaying them left, right, and center. But they've also got Heed burning the beads. They got Monster Bomber burning the beads. They've got so many things that they can do to engage and pick off members of Hype Unit, and that's what Hype Unit need to be doing to Elevate, but yeah, they just can't.
That's the thing, right, is that there's so much dive coming out from Elevate, but Hype Unit's draft is kind of missing that sort of direction. I mean, you can just tell Nemesis with crit on top of the Cthulhu, on top of the Xing Chen. These three characters are going to just sit on you, and there's no way to really peel them off unless you're straight up running away. And at this point in the game, you've really got to be looking at this Hubwa, because he's the one who could make a big difference here to be able to, you know, take someone out. Hubwa is all about the burst damage, and if he's able to get a solid crushing wave off, it's going to be great looks, but they need to find a way to get the flank off.
We'll have to see if they're going to be able to get that indeed crushing wave, like you said, if he can get two, even just one super squishy member, and just open up the fight for Elevate. But if Quake gets picked off, it might not even matter, as he's going to be able to get out with the Riptide, but very, very strange positioning there from Quig, maybe a little bit too aggressive. As speaking of too aggressive positioning, look at where Layers is at the moment, and look at where Spreen is. Both of these junglers just completely out of their depth, and up into the sky goes Renjaru. Layers is going to be the first one to fall. I don't see a way out of this for him.
Oh, no shot. Layers is dead there completely, and meanwhile, the rest of Hype Unit is heading up this middle lane. Layers has done something, right? His death will not be in vain, because Girdle is going to get popped under this mid tower, and that's the tier 2 down for basically free. Of course, they are going to trade out Cascade there on the back end, and Spreen's trying to make something happen, but nobody else is around to be able to follow up.
Well, it's all about the disengage if Elevate, and they do lose two for it, but what do you think to that trade? Two towers, both the mid towers there, for 2 lives. They lose Layers and they lose Cascade.
I mean, it's honestly fine, right? But what's not fine is letting Elevate get this Fire Giant again, and we've hit the 30-minute mark, ladies and gentlemen, so this is going to be enhanced. And that means that if this one's stolen away, it could be bad looks here for Elevate, but they're zoning out Quig, and not only do they get the fire, Spreen's able to grab a kill onto Quig.
This is looking rough. This is a really delicate situation for Hype Unit. All of their towers are down. All 3 Phoenixes are exposed. All 5 members of Elevate have Fire Giant. Now let me run the numbers for you here. None of the members on Hype Unit have Fire Giant. That is 5 more members on Elevate who have Fire Giant. Fire Giant, really good for taking Phoenixes.
Yeah, I'm gonna simplify that down to Fire Giant good. Period.
Good. Oh,
That's
well,
all you need to know about that. And at this point in the game, this is moderately dangerous here for Elevate. They are within striking distance of this Titan, and of course this is game 1, so even if the game doesn't go in Hype Unit's favor, it can all be turned around if necessary. So they're going to be able to grab this Pyramid here for basically free, and meanwhile, all of Hype Unit just really need to snuggle up around this Phoenix, because that's the only place left that they can fight.
What do you think to their defensive comp here? We said that they couldn't really isolate anyone, like in jungle, but in fights, but I think in terms of defense, they don't have a bad shot, right?
No, not one bit. They've got some solid area control coming out from Cascade and Quig, and especially from the big circles coming out from the Hunters. So they will be able to slow down the offense for even just a little bit. But the thing is, the sustain is going to be so good from our 2 tanks over there out of Monster Bomber and Heed. Having the ability to go up and get that big heal and the Squiddle ultimate is just so nice.
Well, Squid ultimate or not, here they come. As using that wave, Elevate were looking to push in, but thanks to that wave clear from Hype Unit, it looks like they're just gonna sit. They're just gonna wave. You see Heed when he's putting down the Maya, he's actually just waving. It's just such an aggressive wave that he also does damage, slows, and then roots people.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to put some poke on a Benny Q here, because they know that Benny's got to get zoned out here for this to be a free fight for them. And up in the sky goes Heed, and pops the thorns as well, so any damage these Hunters are putting onto him is getting moderately reflected back, but he's getting burned down. He might not make it out alive.
No one there on the no one following him up on the side of Elevate. Renjaro's finally going to take to the sky, but it's a bit late, as already both the solo laners have fallen in this engagement, and no one's looking for this Phoenix. The Dishwasher's going to come in and not really find anyone, and there goes up goes Flugen. There's the tidal wave ripping through him, so the damage is good. Blaze might be in trouble here. He's going to get picked up by Spreen, but looks like Cupid's going to find one of his own. Neu is going to find Flugen, who back away with just a little bit of HP, but not going to matter now. It's going to be Quick, who's under some arrest. The Spreen is looking to find the support. He's going to fall down. Neu dashing away, and now it's the Phoenix finally getting taken down here by Elevate, who take way longer than they probably should have done to take down that Firebird.
Hype Unit certainly did lose the Phoenix there, which is the biggest W in the book thus far for Elevate, but this might be pushing it way too far. Monster Bomber does have some solid HP, but he's gonna get shredded by Benny. He needs to hop away from here, and Spreen straight up cannot tank the Phoenix, and Benny Q will get the return kill. Everybody is now gonna chase down Monster Bomber, and he's gonna have to hop away if he wants to make it out of here alive, and it looks like the little bit of extra movement speed they are gonna be having together is enough to keep them away from the two enemy hunters, and that is 2 Firebirds down for Elevate.
I mean, if I'm Elevate, I completely agree with you, by the way, that they really pushed it with that mid-Phoenix. That was big risk time. But, I mean, hey, it paid out for them. They only lose Spreen. He's got a 30-second cooldown timer. Fire Giant's back up in... Oh, okay. Fire Giant's back up in a wafty 2 minutes. So, maybe I would have preferred to keep my Nemesis with the Fire Giant buff than take that Phoenix right now. But, can you really complain?
I mean, no, right? Fire Giant's about to fizzle out in the next second, so that's going to be it for the 2 remaining Fire Giant buffs, and now Hype Unit has got 1 minute to set up for this next fight, because this could make or break the game. If they're not able to defend this fire, that is yet another 3 enhanced Fire Giant to the side of Elevate, and now they've got 2 downed Phoenixes to have to contend with.
Oh no,
he now is trapped, and he's going to have to find a way out.
It's the bowling alley situation all over again, however, no really in the position to follow up, so Heed is able to fly out of that water cage just nice and easily, and with the space that they've created, Hype Unit are going to pick up the Pyromancer, so that's going to be a nice little boon for them. But Elevate, I mean, look at them, they're so tight-knit together here.
This is good looks from them. They've been doing a great job of positioning very aggressively this whole game, but if you're gonna be doing it, you've gotta be together, and big props to these guys as they're finally able to show up with a very solid performance thus far in the SCC, and here comes the Fire Giant. He's just respawned, but keep an eye on that health bar in the top left of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, because it's getting shredded.
I mean, this is very, very quick. I mean, they've got the fire from Merlin, they've got the autos from Spreen, they've got the autos from Renjaru. Fire Giant barely had a health buff, had a health bar there. And Elevate are going to take that all the way to the bank, back off to base, and probably look very hungrily towards that right bird, as the rest of Hype Unit definitely need to be looking on the defensive here.
They absolutely have to, because Phoenixes aren't going to be coming up for a hot minute. They've got to be very concerned about where Elevate are going to go, because they know Oni Fury is about to spawn. It's just a couple of seconds away at this point, and we saw the Fire Giant get shredded, and that's about to be the Oni Fury in just a couple of moments too. So at this point, there's not a whole lot that they can do to go on the aggressive, but they're going to have to really find a way back in this, and it's going to have to be under their Titan.
Well, Elevate have been playing this super cleanly, right? They've been so methodical, so calm, collected. They've been really restraining themselves so that they can get these objectives and they can get these really clean fights. And it's reflected in the scoreline, 5-17. Just goes to show you how patient Elevate are being with this game.
Yeah, they really have, and playing it nice and safe is exactly what you like to see. They are walking this Oni minion wave down all the way through that right lane, and unfortunately that's going to give them the opportunity to let Hype Unit go and clear up the Oni minion waves on the other side of the map. If they had just put the pressure on immediately, that would have stopped any kind of aggression that Hype Unit could have had onto those other waves, and in that case, it would have let the waves just push themselves.
Potentially, although maybe Elevate was just using that as a little buffer to stop Hype Unit from pushing out and doing other things across the map, I suppose. But with all the objectives down, I completely agree with you. It definitely should have been a little bit faster on the push from Elevate, but we'll see if it really matters here, as They're looking to siege up this left side Phoenix. That's right along with Renjaru as the fight commences.
Not quite yet, though. They're still being very patient with this, as there's one last fire minion wave creeping down the left-hand side, and a very sneaky Spreen makes it so that there's no more Phoenix there. No one on Hype Unit was ready to respond to that. They just were too focused on everybody in this right lane just hanging out, sitting and staring at each other.
And, you know, who can blame them? Why would they expect Spreen to be all the way out on a limb there in the left side of the map? As all the rest of Elevate was sitting here in front of this Phoenix. I mean, this 2-3 comp, 2-3 positioning here in the map, very commonly seen. Although there isn't really anything to siege up in the mid lane, so why are they doing it? Oh yeah, that's right, for the flank potential. Up into the sky goes Renjaru, who's trying to help out his team in this fight. Cascade pulling down low, now it's Bluegan with the blink in. He's going to try and do some damage, and he's going to do just that onto BennyQ, who's going to pull down, double kill. He's going to pick up a second one. Now it's Renjaru, the Titan was being killed that entire time? I missed it. I missed how quick that Titan was just absolutely destroyed by that composition. My word.
Wow. Wow. I have no words. They just did not see Spreen be the little ninja nemesis he was and wiggle his way up into that Titan room and just destroy the Titan. They were too focused on running away from Heed that whole time. And by gosh, that's why you get rid of Cthulhu. In this next game, Cthulhu's gotta be banned.
Yeah, I mean, I thought all these teams had learned by now. I mean, it's week 4. We started seeing the consistent Cthulhu bans in SCC around week 3. I don't know why it was left open, but it was. And, I mean, Hype Unit paid for it. It's one of Cascade's best gods, and the main strategy to deal with it is camping it, and they didn't even do that.
Yeah, not much you can do when you've got the Cerberus out there to try and counter it, and honestly, it just seemed anemic. The gameplay from Hype Unit. Nobody really had any pathway into this game at all. I didn't really see any shining performances from typical superstars. I mean, Layers went 0-5-4 this game. I don't expect that kind of performance from someone like Layers who consistently pops off.
It was definitely rough. I'm not really sure where the problem kind of started from Hype Unit, but Elevate, they were able to get these small picks in the early game and then translate that into invades, into slightly more picks, and it really paid off for them. Hype Unit just not really able to find an answer. I mean, BennyQ showing his worth. That Cernos worked out, I guess, but what did it really do? I didn't see any big polymorph ults.
Yeah, there just was not any kind of big identity coming out from the comp of Hype Unit, but also I want to shout out Blugan doing God's work there on the Merlin, shredding through objectives and gods alike with 36,000 player damage. That is 10,000 more than the next highest, and that's Heed on his own side. And oh my gosh, that is so much damage.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that until you pointed that out, but that is the power of Merlin. I mean, Blugan got ahead. We were talking for, you know, a fair amount of this game. Nehu was, what, 2, 3, 4 levels behind? And it just shows in the difference in their stats that you just couldn't really keep up, not finding the farm.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to say there. Nehu just did not perform to the level I expected, and that's kind of the truth there for all of Hype Unit, and hopefully they're able to get the morale back up for game number 2, because they need this to make it a set.
Well, speaking of game number 2, we are going to throw you over to a quick break before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, but we will be right back, so stay right where you are for more SMITE action.
set list. Walk in the spot and I drop on track. Know who the best, know who the best is. Walk in the rave like check this. Got one more for the set list.
Tell me what's going down. I can't stand it when you're so shut down.
Now I want more. Now I want more. Now I want more. Now I want more.
Tell me what's going down. I can't stand it when you're so shut down.
Now I want more. Now I want more. Now I want more. Now I want more.
Tell me what's
Walk in the rave like check this. Got one more for the set list. Walk in the spot and I drop one track. Know who the best, know who the best is.
Tell me what's going.
And we are back here with game number 2 between these two fantastic teams. We saw a very, very convincing victory there from Hype Unit up against Elevate, so we'll have to see if they can follow through with that and make a convincing game 2 out of this, or if Hype Unit are going to come back with a strong victory and maintain their winning streak. But it could be a good look for Elevate, who are looking for that first win here.
Yeah, we've got Hype Unit in first pick, though, so it's going to be all up to them what they let through, and if I'm them, I am absolutely getting rid of this Cthulhu, because, gosh, he'd had such a great game last time.
Absolutely, although it looks like Hype Unit have no intention of that. Potentially they're looking to pick it up themselves in this first pick slot. They are going to ban out the Amaterasu, so definitely a good pickup, a good sign that they're looking to pick up this Cthulhu.
Yeah,
We'll
they
have to see
certainly
what
are
happens.
at least concerned about the counter matchups, right? Because we've got that Amaterasu to kind of just eliminate something from the soul lane, right? Try and get something out of there to be able to, you know, open it up even just a little bit more. But right now we've got Oleron getting taken away there by Hype Unit. So again, the concern is showing for those Hecate abusers. And on the other side as well, another mage that is in a bit of a pickle here as she's been eliminated is Persephone.
Persephone, definitely, I wish we could see more Persephone. You know, I love watching Persephone play. She's so strong, she's so interesting to see how people can really set up those gardens and win. But the last two bans are going to be of those Guardian variety. We've got a very nice, soothing Yamoja ban, and then a spicy Kappa ban. Nemesis going to be first pick for Hype Unit, though, and with no ban onto the Cthulhu, yep, there it is, indeed. Elevate going to slap that straight into their health bars.
I mean, this is in general just a better pickup here, I feel like, for Layers. He's going to be a little bit more in control because I feel like he didn't look so hot on the Hubwa. So putting him on a character he's more comfortable with is a great look. But on the other side, man, a counter to a counter. Nemesis to counter out Cthulhu and Cupid to counter out Nemesis. Not much to be done there, but I'm hoping that we actually see a Hubwa come out, but instead we see Discordia rear her head once again, and I feel like she's been missing recently from the SCC and the SPL. Nothing really changed about her, but she's just kind of a little less favored up against emerging beasts like a Cupid, apparently.
See, I really like Discordia. I think she has so much utility and team fight applications with her kit, especially with the madness, you know, getting those two people to fight each other. Really, really effective in a team fight. If you can get like 3 people in there all punching each other and then follow it up with a big apple, mwah, beautiful. She fills a really similar role to Cupid, which, you know, Cupid's also a really prevalent mid laner at the moment, and alongside Achilles for Hype Unit, I quite like that. Achilles probably going into the solo lane here, unless Cascade feels like pulling a last set and playing it in the playing Nemesis in the solo lane.
I mean, they could, right? Or maybe even the support could go, all right, it's time to cosplay Raffer, and Quake says, I've got the Achilles now. So that could be the thought process coming from Hype Unit, but honestly, I'm not mad at it going to the solo lane. It just pretty well into Cthulhu, and I love the way that Hype Unit have drafted. They said, Cthulhu is the problem, here is our solution. A Nemesis ult, an Execute, and an apple that is so easily spread. The target for this apple is huge, right? Cthulhu's got one of the biggest models, if not the largest, in the game. So the fact of the matter is that this Discordia is not going to have to try very hard to hit those apples.
Absolutely not, and as you said, it can spread to the entire enemy team, and could spell disaster for Elevate if they get grouped up too much like we saw them do last game, so definitely looking to take advantage of that as the Finnish comps come through. Raven, Jingchen, Aphrodite round out this Elevate comp, and Cerberus, Ho Yi rounding out Hype Units. Let's throw it to game and see exactly what's going on with these comps here. Anything interesting, Lemmy?
Well, we've got the Quig taking actually the Cerberus this time, and I was actually convinced that Cascade would run it back with the Cerberus, but not going to be the case this time, as Achilles probably has a slightly better matchup up against the big Squiddle. And honestly, what's most surprising to me is that Bluegin's pulling out the Aphrodite. We've seen Aphrodite kind of come and go, right? Of course, the most popular one I'd say is Dardas, and you absolutely have to ban away the Aphrodite from him, but another player that's seen a little less success with that character is Paul, so I'm kind of surprised that this is the choice here, is that it's going to mid rather than to solo. I feel like when we've seen in the SEC, it's been Mando pulling it out and making it work, but, you know, this time Bluegin could make it work, and we've seen it happen before where Aphrodite's kind of just hard carry a game, so maybe we see it again.
Potentially, although she does lack a lot of what you really, really want in this current meta from your mid laner. You know, you want that big area control, area damage ultimate that can really either secure an objective or a kill. But we're kind of missing that, although making up for it potentially is Cupid on the Renjaru on the Cupid rather, as Monster Bomber back on this Jing Chen is forced to back away super low there, as Hype Unit already looking to take control of this duel.
I mean, they surely are. They had Monster Bomber poked out quite a lot, but he actually has hit level 2 before everybody else in the blink might have been working, if not for the rotation from Spreen. And Quake's getting body blocked for the first blood for this Robin. A nice bounce is going to do some solid damage to Monster Bomber, but the double kill for Spreen. And man, that was so close to being bad news bears, and here comes the Nem to try and turn it around.
Layers is going to do just that dash to confirm the kill onto Spreen, but it doesn't look like she's going to find her way out. She's going to find a death to, I believe that was a minion archer actually finished her off there. Renjari gets credit for the kill, but 4 kills back to back. I mean, last game was anything but quick. It looks like they really want to change up the tempo with this game.
Surely, and it is working out at least in favor for Spreen in the slightest bit, right? They've got the Robin up to a lead, and that's exactly what you want to see from this character, because if anything, you want to slow down Nemesis as much as possible, because once she hits that level 5 mark, she's going to be an absolute menace, able to rotate even to the solo lane and take down this tanky Cthulhu should she choose. So the longer it takes for her to get to that point, the easier it's going to be for everybody else to survive.
Well, like you said, Hype Unit definitely drafted an anti-Cthulhu comp, and with the powers of Layers' ultimate and Cascade's ultimate, that execute, being able to execute, I believe it's 40% HP, like, he is going to have a hard time surviving, especially in that big, chunky hitbox in that ultimate, so we'll hope to see that Hype Unit are abusing that fact over in the right-hand side, as Benny Q is picking up this purple. Was attempted at an invade there from Elevate, but not quite successful. I'm just going to go back to farming.
Absolutely, and I kind of want to talk a little bit more about how this late game fight is going to look. And I mean, it's going to be very difficult to chew through this Aphrodite, especially if she's going to be linked on up with the Cthulhu. There's no real inherent sustain outside of the ultimate coming from Cthulhu himself, and that's where this Aphrodite is going to come in clutch. If they're able to keep Cthulhu nice and healthy to the point where he's able to go up into the sky and pop off, that's the kind of look we're after.
For sure. I think anti-heal is the word here from Hype Unit. We've got 3 pretty decent healers from Elevate. We've got the Aphrodite heal, we've got the little hearts from Renjaru, and even in his ultimate, as you said, Cthulhu able to hit that big heal, huge AoE around him. So if there isn't any anti-heal picked up by Hype Unit, they could find themselves being what's the word I'm looking for here? Out-healed.
Sustained.
Sustained,
Yeah.
that's the one. Brain words.
Brain words, absolutely. Agree with you there, but we're looking at the level 5 mark for a lot of the characters on the board right now, and if anybody's in danger, it's probably going to be this Yi, because that is not a great counter to deal with, but just kidding, it's Quig who's getting picked out here in theory, as Ultimate is burned by Renjaru to force out the Cerberus, but Quig is more than happy to just leap away from that one after the Field of Love pop, but just kidding! In the meantime, Cascade has fallen down to Spreen, who once again has put somebody else in the ground.
Well, I mean, we don't even get a second to process everything that's just happened. Spreen, I mean, it was a wonderful rotation, I can only assume, and catches Cascade clearly off guard, but that's exactly what they're going to want to be doing to try and shut down this big Cthulhu counter and allow Heed to do exactly what he's been doing the last 2 games, and that's be a big present bully. And he's already a level up.
That's what you love to be seeing. Get this Cthulhu fed, especially up against a draft that is built from the ground up to deal with it. And honestly, I've got to give that very heavily over to Spreen, who did find such a huge successful rotation over on that left-hand side very early on, and the aggression really coming out from this Robin is somewhat unmatched, but one thing I do want to point out, though, is my concern here for Monster Bomber, because he could be in danger now that this rotation has come out.
Unfortunately, the apple not quite gonna find him, as he's gonna be able to find his way out there, Monster Bomber, but the same can't be said for Renjaru, who's going to eat a face full of suns as Benny Q drops the entire astral orbit onto him. Now it's Neu looking for some extra damage. I think he did actually manage to steal away the red buff there, potentially? I think he might have done.
It does not look like it is. It seems Bluegan actually picked it up, but over in the right-hand side, the solo has been returned. You may have ganked me, but I'm not done yet. Heed is able to turn it around, or rather, get turned around on as Cascade solos him.
Well, that's the beauty, as I said, about the Achilles ultimate, which was popped there, so I can only assume what happened was he'd got a little too low, didn't pop the ult, and Cascade said, alright, well, I'm just gonna kill you now, Mr. Big Squid Man. And that's exactly what he's going to look to do. I mean, it's perfect execution. I do want to ask, is Hype Unit drafting so heavily into this anti-Cthulhu worth it? Or do you think they've gone a little too hard in just countering this one character?
I think it works out, honestly, because they do have a lot of characters that have solid matchups into the other ones regardless. I mean, you've got the Cerberus, right, that does take away some of the healing from the Cthulhu, but the majority of that is going to be coming from everybody else. He's stealing the regen from Monster Bomber. He's getting a bit of the birds from Bluegan, and if anyone picks up hearts around him, you know he's stealing a portion of that candy. So, I don't know. I think that this character in particular is really, really strong, and of course, we touched on Discordia just a little bit in the picks and bans, but I definitely think this character is a little undervalued, at least right now, so she definitely still can be within striking distance of the meta, especially up against a character like Aphrodite, who is more so a supporty character than a damaging one.
I completely agree with you, and Nehu, as I said, my problem with Aphrodite mid is that she doesn't really bring what you want from a mid laner at the moment, which is that high damage burst. Which Aphrodite, sure, she's got damage if you build her that way. Those birds surely do hurt. But Neu is on the complete opposite side of that spectrum. Not only does he have a massive teamfight ultimate in that apple, as we've discussed, but it's a great securing tool. Honestly, just rolling it through an objective does a serious amount of damage. And I'm going to really look at Hype Unit to secure these objectives away from Elevate, who really don't have an answer for that kind of secure.
They don't, but they also have a lot of zoning tools, and of course we've talked time and time again about how you have to give Heed the respect when he's up into the ultimate, but you also have to be dealing with the circles coming out from Renjaru and Monster Bomber, but here's Layers getting aggressive up into 3. You would have thought he would have been a little slower on the engage there, as everybody else is not quite in position to follow up, but everybody now are making their rotation back to the pack camps, but here comes Heed, who's already stolen them away, and Layers now understands exactly what's happened, and now that dash got cancelled, it's time to go up into the sky.
Beautiful stun there by Cascade, as you said. Cancelled out the dash, forces Heed up into the ultimate. It's going to be a big boon for him, especially now we've got Layers is blinking in on it. It could be a follow-up kill here. Spreen, though, he's waiting in the wings, looking in case anyone is going to try and re-engage onto his solo laner, but no one is going to quite do that, so he's instead just going to decide to back to base and do whatever he was doing. Very patient, very measured, once again, from both of these teams.
Yeah, but Spreen's really coming out ahead here because he's got 2 levels on Layers, and I feel like this is so uncharacteristic of Layers because he's the one that tends to be in control. He's the one that likes to set the pace of the game, and occasionally from time to time he will pop off, but they know he's got no ultimate, so now it's time for them to go in.
Popping off is definitely the right word, as off with his head is the word for Hype Unit. They want to take down Heed, but a nice dash through the enemy team is going to save him. And now it's Spreen on the offensive, as Quick is going to be the first one to fall down. Now Cascade trying to find the return kill, but he's going to get put in the washing machine into the mire, and he's going to fall down straight to Spreen. Double kill there for the jungler on Elevate. 6-3 are the kills now in favor of the red team, and this could potentially translate into a Pyromancer if only it was 30 seconds later.
Yeah, you would think so, right? I mean, it seems like this game has been going on so much longer than it has, but that's almost entirely because this lead is all on Spreen. Spreen's got 5 kills, he's fallen down once, and this 2-level difference, man, it just really sucks to see because Layers is a talented player, but he's just getting out-jungled at this point. This lead is very close to 3 levels in a lot of extents, but Renjaru, man, he's trying to get the solo kill. He's getting that hot money play. Up in the sky goes Benny to jump away because he knows Monster Bomber is in the back, and Monster Bomber wants to finish him off, but not enough. He's not fast enough to get there in time.
You could see it in the hover time of Benny Q. He was looking at Renjaru. He was going, ooh, could I do it? Could I land on him? And he decides in the end, you know, the call comes out from the support, hey, you got Monster Bomber incoming. He's like, all right, fine. And he decides to leave eventually, but he thought about it, and I respect that.
He certainly did, but once again, we're up in the debate of this Nemesis build, right? It looks like Layers is going for the crit build, but hold that thought as there's a grouping up around this Gold Fury. They're hiding around the corner, waiting to see if anyone shows up because they know there was some stuff burned there, but Layers is the first one to engage this fight.
Bluegin is going to get targeted out by that Nemesis ult. The final judgment has deemed her unworthy, but it seems that Cupid sent Renjaru has no interest in letting her carry out the punishment. Instead, going to put Layers straight into the ground there, claiming the kill for Elevate, putting them a little bit further ahead. And it's going to close the gap between Renjaru and Benny Q here a little bit, as the Gold Fury is going to go down as well.
They've got double sustain here from the Hearts and the Afro, and the zone right now is good, but it's not good enough to really make anything happen quite yet. Here come the Fields of Love, forcing out the beads, and Gold Fury is once again leached.
Well, the Suns are going to come through in an attempt to steal it, but I think Elevate are going to have the wherewithal to drop it, and there's going to be the washing machine to put the Hunter in the ground. Hype Unit, Benny Q just not quite able to find it there. Damage, though, coming through here. Trying to find some more is Nehu, and he's going to find one of his own. But it's going to be Spreen once again finding a kill. Cerberus, though, he's going to be able to pick up Spreen in the meantime. Going to get at that shutdown gold as well. Well, they lose their jungler, but the Gold Fury goes their way, and I think that's still probably a W for Elevate.
You think so, right? But the gold lead has been reduced to basically even. We're seeing about 300 in the lead for Elevate here, and it's so close, right? Because these comps are neck and neck, and the only real difference here is in the XP between Layers and Spreen. And Spreen, man, he's been going absolutely bonkers this game. He's, what, 7-2 right now? We're 12 minutes in. There's no shot my jungler has 7 kills in most normal games, but Cascade here is in trouble. He's forced into the ultimate, and it looks like this tower is going to go down because of it.
Yeah, and, well, there's nothing really he could have done there. Heed was too healthy for him to try and fight back into it, so we're all good there. Cascade is just going to back away, except that his tower is gone now. Back to base, but should be fine for him. I'm not sure he's worried too much about it now. 30 minutes in. Tier 1 tower, I mean, that's still going to hurt.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially in the beginning here, but over on this right-hand side, the fight has broken out yet again. It's a 1v2 now as Heed has shown up alongside Spreen, and they want to keep going for this, it looks like, but instead, Gold Fury is going to maybe be contested here as once again, Benny Q is stuck and surrounded. Ultimates popped on both sides, but he doesn't fall down.
Here comes Quake. He's going to pop the ultimate, but the nice counter ult from Aphrodite is going to save both Renjaru and himself the hassle of pressing the F button and popping those beads, but the fight's going to fizzle out there once Neyu shows up. No ultimates available for pretty much anyone on either team, only Neyu and Spreen, who wasn't really in a position to fight there either. He's all the way on the other side of the map, potentially looking once again for Cascade, but full HP on the solo laner. I'm not really sure there's anything that the jungler can do here. It's just going to be a totem of coup for them.
Yeah, not sure why Spreen's even spending the time on this totem. There's other stuff to be doing, my guy, and if you had been on that left-hand side during the fight, I could have easily seen them take that Gold Fury and win the fight because Benny Q did not have beads. You had several ultimates down on him, but just not enough damage, and that's why I feel like Aphrodite kind of struggles in this level of play, especially in mid. You just don't have the follow-up like you would from Neu.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've said it before, I've said it again. There's just no damage there from Bluegan. He can't really do anything. And sure, he saves the beads, he saves the Aegises, but like, they're not getting anything out of it. And that's a huge problem. It's why I completely agree with you when you say that it would have probably been a better look to put him over in the solo role or maybe even support if they were really that attached to the Aphrodite.
Yeah, I mean, support Aphrodite is kind of a push, right? That is a little bit difficult to make work, but at the same time, it can work in certain situations, but check out this rotation. He's finally come on down, and the sentry, though, is in favor of Hype Unit, so they know exactly what's going on, but nobody is really in position quite yet because Monster Bomber is doing a great job of zoning, but he is getting burned down now with a Nemo.
They're taking so long to claim this Gold Fury. Now it's being dropped. Apple of Discord is being so unhit. It's going to get hit straight by it. And now up this guy goes Cascade. That's going to be one down already. Heat falls down to the ultimate. And now it looks like Elevator on the full retreat as Gold Fury is going to get dropped by Hype Unit.
And this is why Achilles is the Cthulhu killer. He doesn't have the awareness really to see that he's within execute range. You have to pay so much attention to your health bar if you're that Cthulhu up in the sky, because if you don't recognize that you're about to get executed, you're just dead. You cannot juke that when you're that big.
Absolutely, really relying on a teammate there to try and protect you as Benny Q is getting dived up upon, and Layers doesn't look like he's going to meet with much of a favorable fate as he's going to fall down as well. Double kill once again for Spreen, putting him 9-2, but look at this on the right-hand side of the map. Hype Unit respond with a Pyromancer, which is, I mean, hey, if they're going to get absolutely anything out of that play in the right lane, Pyro isn't bad.
Not at all, and especially if they trade these tier 1 towers. We see this left-hand side one go down in the favor of Elevate, but there are minions pushing that right-hand side one in the favor of Hype Unit, so 1 for 1 in the towers, and that's a Pyromancer as well, but if this tier 2 goes down, then this is definitely in Elevate's favor, and with the zoning from Monster Bomber, it looks like it's gonna be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Quig tries his best to save the tower there, but he's going to get forced out, unfortunately. Not really too much the good old Yala can do to save his tier 2 bone.
He would love to, of course, but at this point in the game, not much he can do unless he's committing way too much to that fight, and we're getting to the point in the game where you could be seeing additional rotations coming out from the ADCs, coming out from the solos, and picking fights in this mid area. I mean, there is a sliver of health on that tier 1 tower in mid. I mean, I would argue less than 10 health remain on that tower. So if there was a grouping from Hype Unit, they could force down this tower so easily and then find the pressure after that.
I can see Benny Q making the rotation up through the top of the tower just to fire one shot at it and then leave. I could see it happening. I would imagine Benny Q would make something like that happen.
In theory, yeah, I mean, he really could. There's nothing really left to defend on his side of the map anyway, as that tier 2 tower is gone, and this is a great look thus far for Elevate, because now, even this early on in the game, they've already got the pathway to the Titan available, so should they find a very great fight, like maybe even this one if it was the other way around, but Layers forced to dash away here, but the pressure is still on, because Cascade is the first solo laner here.
No ultimate available now for Monster Bomber. He's already used it, and nothing was really gained from it. And it's going to really wash out the fight as Hype Unit now looking to siege up this tower. All 5 of them are here, and like you said, slither of HP on that tier 2, and now on the tier 1 rather. And now looking at the tier 2 R Hype Unit, they're pushing it down. I'm not really sure there's anything Elevate can do to stop them from doing this, as Hade is already in the ground. The Suns find him dead. As long as Benny Q has anything to say about it, he's not getting up anytime soon. And now Hype Unit looking to potentially translate this into what could be either a right tier 2 or even a Fire Giant.
They've got the ward coverage. Check out all those little blue dots on the board, and right now it is all up to Cascade to zone them away here, and they're gonna be able to do it rather successfully, it seems. Spreen snuck around the corner, but that's not gonna be enough to slow him down. It's gonna be all up to Cascade to chase.
Forced to ult away is Spreen. Layers looking for the re-engage with the dash blink, but not going to find anything. Unfortunately, our hype unit disengaged from Elevate is going to be really, really good there. Anti-heal is applied onto Spreen, but now that his mid laner is back, we get to see the true advantage, the upside of the Aphrodite mid, as Bluegan is just going to be able to heal up Spreen right up to full.
Oh yeah, they're able to regroup around this really successfully, but I doubt there's going to be a Fire Giant at this point in the game. They're all regrouping in many different ways to try and just farm up a little bit more, and honestly, if I'm going to pick a next target, I'm going after that Primal Fury that spawns in a minute or so. They've got the time to set up for it, but there's no wards there now. So if they're able to catch someone off guard going solo to plant some wards, that could be where a fight begins.
Potentially, but it looks like everyone's a bit too spread out at the moment. No Fire Giant really in the question, as you said, but the ward coverage definitely in favor of Hype Unit. What do you think is the next kind of port of call for these teams? Obviously, you said about a fight potentially breaking out in the solo lane, but what about this left-hand side? Do you think maybe we could see some pushing up?
Yeah, I mean, the tier 1 tower is still available, but they've got to be really careful if they're going to go for it because they have zero safety on this side. They're going to have to make a run for that mid-tier 1 tower if a fight goes wrong because there is no safety at all. Tier 2 tower on that dual lane, gone. You can't really find anywhere to sit at that point, so you have to be so careful with how you're positioning here because, like I said, if there's only a way to get out, it's going to be through mid.
Well, we'll have to see. Hype Unit now starting up this Gold Fury. They've got plenty of space to do it as Elevate not really in any sort of position as we've got so many people zoning them out, but the zoning has failed. Everyone's trying to push back into this Primal Fury pit, and just like Elevate don't really have any barriers to stop them as Hype Unit are going to step away, but BennyQ is taking a fair amount of damage from it. And unlike Elevate, he doesn't really have anything to really sustain back off of. So we'll see if Elevate can recognize that and look for a potential kill as this Gold Fury dance continues.
Benny really wants to hit this wave right now because he does have the Blood Forge, so he could get some healing, but Quake's about to start the fight here, and up in the sky goes he, but on the back, Layers is making the moves on Renjaru.
He's trying to find something, absolutely, and the double knockup is going to be good. Here come the Suns, but the Fields of Love has dropped right down on top of it. Aegis from Neo is going to be good to save the life, but Cascade is going to be the first one to start off the party, taking down Jing Chen. Shield Bash is going to be good now to deal some damage to Renjaru, but I don't think he has it. The healing is too strong. He's going to fall down, but now it's Layers trying to pick up a kill onto Heat. He's going to do just that, but Renjaru picking up the double now for himself, forcing Hype Unit back, and now it's 2-3 at the moment. Players on the board. Elevate definitely in a better position now alongside this healing. Should be a free Primal Fury for them as Hype Unit have to run away with their tails between their legs.
I mean, you think so, right? But the three-headed doggo is right around the corner, just trying to slow him down. But honestly, what can Quig really do? He's going to look at him funny for sure, but, you know, 3 heads may be better than 1, but 3 gamers on the side of Elevate are able to take down that Gold Fury for sure. No shot there that the poor little doggo is going to steal that one away, and he's just going to go and pick up the red buff for himself, but honestly, they could attempt this Pyromancer. They do not have any more vision, does Elevate, so they could move up and make it happen. And of course, the Nemesis has gone into some solid crits, so they are going to at least have some DPS for it, should they choose. But instead, they're waiting for the respawns, and Neo coming up is going to be a great boon to them as well, because that is some more damage just piling on top.
Well, having a look at the player damage charts, you are absolutely right. Top damage for Hype Unit at the moment, and only 3rd in terms of overall rankings, is Nayu. He's definitely finding these apples. We've only seen him ult a few times, but every single time that he has, I think he's made a very, very strong impact. As Spreen actually forced to ult away in the mid lane. But hold on, we looked away for a half second and Bluegan's already dead. That's the main healing on the side of Elevate already gone. Hype Unit using the space now to attempt the Pyromancer, and it's going to fall down pretty convincingly here. No one on Elevate to respond. Now Fire Giant being looked at. Look at this. Can Elevate look back into this fight as he's being zoned out by Cascade, who's doing what he can, but Fire Giant's already on about half HP. Looks like Hype Unit are going to drop it, though, in favor of potentially looking at Elevate in the fight. And Spreen, he's already looking low. Layers trying to find him. There's the auto attack. He's going to pick up another kill for himself. Heed now getting hit with the apple of Discord is Renjaru. Leia's still here on the front line. He's going to get dishwashed under the tower, though, and alongside that knockup, he's going to fall down eventually to Renjaru, who's finally going to find a return kill for the rest of his teammates. He'd now very, very low, and the Suns are going to make sure that he falls down alongside Cascade's damage. That's going to make this a 3-4 at the moment. Hype Unit's definitely standing a member stronger, but they don't quite have the sustain, and they're going to be forced to back away. Cascade, though, being caught out in the jungle by Renjaru and Bomber. It's going to be the end of the solo laner's life for sure.
Oh, unfortunate lazy back there for Cascade. That's just a rookie mistake there. You've got to be a little bit more careful on how you play the game. He was probably caught shopping, to be honest, but that fight just, man, it went not in the favor of Elevated. Layers, honestly, was the savior of that fight, using the ultimate to completely shred down Bluegan and then totally chase out Spreen. And this is why Crit Nemesis is so good, because she can just sit on top of you and delete you. And that's exactly what happened. But now that the sustain is back, it looked like Elevate wanted to attempt the Fire Giant there, but everybody's back from the base on Hype Unit, and they do not want to allow any kind of advantage to come once again.
Well, we've seen this game. Elevate have been in pretty much the driver's seat the whole time, but Hype Unit definitely starting to fight their way back into it as we see the Fire Giant yet again pulled now by Elevate. BennyQ being pressured out, and it's all on Heed, making the space as the rest of Elevate are peeled off of the Fire Giant, looking for more damage. Back into the fray goes BennyQ as he's forced down there by the dishwasher. Now it's Spreen trying to find some damage, but the blink away from Quick is going to find him safe. It's going to be fine for him, and now the rest of Elevate looking to back off. These health bars are low. The sustain is going to do good. All they need is a couple seconds, and they should be all back to health. Cascade is going to take this opportunity to de-ward the sentry at the Fire Giant pit.
They will have to wait a little bit, though, because Bluegan is very single target in the healing. And, of course, Renjaru's got the hearts as well, but it's not going to be perfect. They will need to take their time, but healing up now is a lot better than heading on back to base, and giving this Aphrodite blue is such a good look as well, because there is a lot of MP5 in her build, but the big issue is that she's going to be using everything on cooldown, and with the 40%, that's going to be costing a lot of mana, but it might even cost someone their life, because Neu is the one getting chased out now, but a great interrupt there on the dash by Quig means that he is going to have to slow his roll.
And now Elevate, they're in this little bit of a choke point. If Hype Unit can take advantage of it, they could be able to catch them off guard, but Quig, he's all by himself here. The rest of his team are able to join him, so he should be fine, but Elevate on the retreat. Look at this. They're grouping up. They're taking advantage of the sustain, and they're just keeping in this jungle a little bit further away from the Fire Giant, potentially seeing if they can catch Hype Unit starting it so they can come in with the steal.
In theory, right? But check out where Layers is going. He's heading on over to this Primal Fury because he knows that these fights have been long. They've been slow and they've been arduous. So setting up vision there on the Gold Fury is going to be incredibly helpful. And also having that bit of crit means that he could shred through the objective on his own if he really wanted to. And since everybody was over by the Fire Giant for such a long period of time, there's no way there's any warding over by this Gold Fury. But with Layers going back to base, this is moderately concerning because Cupid's around the corner. They could go for the Primal if they really wanted to.
I don't think they quite spotted out the back, so I don't think they're going to grab that objective, but instead, looking for this fight into the mid lane. Both the supports are going to blink into the center, and damage is going to come through, but let's follow along with Spreen, as he's going to try and find something, but it's going to be the solo laners picking up a kill for themselves. Layers now, the jungler's trading out kills, one either side. Spreen is looking like he's getting chased down. Layers definitely has the chase potential, but the blink away from Spreen is going to find him safe. And I don't think there's anything else going to come of this fight, as both teams, they took 2 Ls each, and then they decided to back away.
I think the win there, though, does go to Elevate, though, because both carries of Hype Unit were eliminated, so that is going to limit their damage potential, especially if they do choose to go for this Primal Fury, and that looks like where they want to go, but Layers just walk straight over a ward, so they have a good idea of where they're off to, and like you said, Blazy, they just don't have the damage right now. They might be setting themselves up for failure.
Well, now that Layers has joined them, they might just about have it. Spreen tries to steal with the fists, but Hype Unit do manage to secure it, and that's just going to be the end of the fight. But, I mean, hey, any other Gold Fury, I would say probably doesn't matter. But that Primal Fury is really going to help Elevate when they start to try and... Hype Unit when they try and start this Fire Giant.
Yeah, especially because we are about to hit that Fire Giant state where it does get enhanced. We're a minute and a half away. Fire Giant is still going to be up, and Pyromancer has respawned. And at this point, the map is just kind of wide open. No wards around the Fire Giant at all. So if Layers did choose to sneak this Pyro, he probably could. But instead, he's going to place down the sentry and continue to clear out these waves. This is going to be a dance around the Fire Giant, and I can feel it with this Aphrodite here and all the sustain present. It could go on for quite a long time because neither side really wants to commit.
Yeah, potentially. We could be in for a long one, Lummy. I hope you brought a nice warm glass of cocoa and a sleeping bag because we might be camping it out for the night.
In theory, right? Because both these squads at least have some solid way to engage and disengage and turn it around, but instead they're going to be allowing Elevate to push up and take the Pyromancer. Just a nice little bit of gold to their name, and that's actually more important than you think, because if Pyromancer was taken by Hype Unit, that would kind of mitigate the fact that Bluegan is on this Aphrodite a little bit. The fact of the matter is that you don't really have to return to base if you have an Aphrodite. You've got a ton of healing, but the pressure is immediately on the Heat, and he feels like that blink is worth ulting into, but that is a huge pick there from Hype Unit, and they're more than happy to retreat after taking that cooldown.
Definitely a W. They just walk up, force Heat's ult, which is what he's been using all game to create space for these objectives. And that's definitely, as you said, going to be a boon for them. So Hype Unit going to take that all the way to the bank. And look at this positioning now. They're looking to be aggressive. They're looking to find this space onto the Fire Giant. And I wouldn't be surprised if they look to start it now.
They could for sure. They've got the damage from Benny, and especially with Nehu on the zone as well, could throw a stripe or two over the wall and make some solid work happen. But of course, there's still two tanky frontliners coming through on both ends. But here it looks like to be the pick on the Quig, like you said, but Layers is trying his best to zone.
And the Apple's going to come through to attempt to help out with that quest, but Benny is the first one to be aggressed on here in this little skirmish. The sun's going to come down, and it's going to be the dishwasher washing machine looking to find it, and that's going to be the first kill party started by the jungler there. Spreen picks up one, but it's going to be BenQ with the reply there, getting a double kill. That's going to be Bluegan and Heed falling down. That is most of the sustain from Elevate already off the board with a 50-second life cooldown. It's going to be a big red light for Elevate saying, back off, run away.
In theory, right? But everybody on Hype Unit's gotta be careful because there's this huge wave on the left-hand side. I mean, this is what happens when you ignore a wave for 10 or so minutes. You just get one that becomes this super wave that just has archers on archers on archers. And so clearly, the Phoenix did get poked out a little bit because of that, but because this Phoenix has yet to be fully taken down, it will heal back up over time. And I don't imagine that anybody from Elevate is going to be able to get far enough up that losing that Phoenix is going to be a concern.
No, hopefully not. And with the Fire Giant being started here, it might be a concern for Elevate as it might... Oh my goodness, they're going to do it. Hype Unit are going to be able to take this away. H-Bomber, he's in position. He tries to steal it away with the scream, but it's not going to quite make it. He's going to flip out. But the Fire Giant is indeed going to fall to Hype Unit, and that is going to be big for them. They're going to back away, plan their next move. And what should that move be, Lummy?
I mean, wow, they really 50-50'd that right, but their next move really has got to be to push up this left-hand side. We talk about this all the time, but the left-hand side Phoenix is the choice Phoenix for sure. If you're able to get people to move as far away from the Fire Giant as possible to clear out some fire minions, and that's exactly what you want to do. And with the Gold Fury respawning in the next minute or so, that's a good look as well. And even on top of that, there's two towers just waiting to be taken on this side of the map. So with everything lining up in their favor, who wouldn't want to push down this side?
Absolutely yummy, tasty gold. I can taste it now with a nice bolognese sauce to go on the side is what Hype Unit are craving for their dinner today. But whether or not they're going to actually do that is another story. It doesn't really look like they're starting to group up, although, as I say that, the pings are going to come through. Everyone's apparently very angry that no one's grouping up, and it's like everyone's going to start gravitating together towards the left-hand side of the jungle.
I mean, you'd think so, right? But Spreen's off in Jungle Land, I suppose. He's in his own head, able to go get that blue buff, I guess. But for whom, you might ask? And the answer is nobody. And at this rate, they've wasted enough time. They're going to head on over to this Oni Fury, and a Hunter plus a crit Nemesis. This is going down quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Elevate, they're not even interested in defending this. In fact, I don't think they're even interested in defending the tier 1 tower and left, as that's going to fall down nice and quickly. I'm still not sure what Spreen is doing. I guess split push? is the answer, but 3 members of Hype Unit are going to walk into this tier 2 tower, and it's going to evaporate because apparently those bricks were made of some form of liquid that just into the sky. I'm not sure if Hype Unit are going to look for the push onto the Phoenix just yet, but that's definitely what their next priority is. As Benny Q actually might get caught out here in the mid lane. Hot Bomb's going to be good, but Jump Boy's going to be better.
Yeah, Renjar jumping for joy that he got a lot of poke there onto the enemy hunter. That might actually dissuade them from pushing up a little bit further, but Benny could go find some farm in the jungle, but you see the pings coming out. Those are the only minion waves coming through, and this is exactly the kind of offense we need to be seeing right now from Hype Unit. They need to have people prepared to take these Phoenixes down, and this is exactly why you pressure the Phoenix, even though the Oni wave isn't here yet. The reason why you don't walk it up is because it gives time for the enemy team to clear out every other one.
Well, we're seeing this classic 4-1 split here in the left and mid to take full advantage of those Oni waves, as you said. Cascade is going to start off the party nice and quickly with that blink stun in, but he's going to get met with a Field of Love, forced to ult away. That's already a really big cooldown forced by Cascade, and Hype Unit already looking like they're on the retreat.
I mean, you'd think so, right? But that was also the cursed Ankh coming out from Quig, so that's not going to be available in the next fight either. So if we're looking at cooldowns, that is a 2-for-1 trade in favor, I'd say, of Elevate. They are going to be missing that nice bit of anti-heal that they really could be needing. So it's going to be all up to the blink here for Monster Bomber to see if he can zone him out.
Well, and there's the counter engage. As you said, Blinkin is going to be strong. Quig already taking a lot of damage, but right in the back goes Cascade. He's looking once again for more damage, but no ultimate available to him. Suns are going to come down from Medicue to try and get more, but Cascade is going to get forced out here. He's going to fall down, and now the Blinkin from Layers is going to try and find something, but the ultimate from absolutely everyone is going to find them safe. Overhead kick from Spreen is going to put Layers into the ground, and Nehu only just managing to find a response by putting Blugan down. He might be the next target on the list, but Renjaru forced to dash into the wall away from the Madness field. But Benny Q trying to find some damage here, gets knocked up, but the beats are going to be good. Jumps away, but Spreen hot on his tail. Nehu looking to find something. At the moment, Elevate are fighting on 2 sides, but oh my god, the damage from overhead kick is going to absolutely evaporate Benny Q, and now Renjaru picks up Quig. This could be the opening that Elevate are waiting for. 4 members are down on Hype Unit. The lowest cooldown, 25 seconds. This, if they really wanted to, could be a Phoenix, and man, probably not a Titan, but definitely a Phoenix.
They could have, right? But they were just not in a position to grab anything. They were halfway down that dual lane, and there's no tower to grab there, and the minions were pushed all the way up to their Phoenixes. I mean, you can see how low that tier 2 tower is, and right, there's just nothing really to grab. So even though there were several spills on the side of Hype Unit, if I'm them, that loss really is just a delay of the game. The next big fight is around this fire giant that's spawning in 10 seconds, and if I'm Hype Unit right now, I've got to be sprinting out of base to this fire giant because it's up now. They need to be ready to go.
Yeah, and Elevate, you see there, they start up Pyro, and then as soon as they realize that fire is just spawning, like the meteor was coming in, it's like, okay, drop the Pyro, we're not doing this, we're going straight onto that fire giant, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They do end up dropping it though, once Hype Units show their presence. The engage is going to be good. Layers ults Renjaru there, but I'm not really sure there's anything they can do about it, as the rest of Elevate is going full in here, and the first kill's already going to be down. Nehu falls, though the ult is popped, but nothing really comes of it. Going to be a really, really big player off of the board for Hype Unit already, as they don't have any sort of real steal here now. No ultimate available from Layers either, so Spreen could really take this 1v1 fight, especially now with the healing from Blugan in tow. The rest of the Fire Giant dance is going to come in. Blinking from Quig is going to be good, but the beads and ultimate from Aphrodite are going to be even better. Renjaru dashes in. The crits from Layers are going to absolutely melt his health bar. Quick credit for the kill. Now the Suns are coming through. Elevate pushing back. Pushed back by Hype Unit, but the health bars are low on all sides. Layers is going to be the one to follow as we look into this tower. Screen forced to beads, but the ultimate from Cascade might find him. Benny Q is going to find the kill, though. In they go. He might fall. Cascade still doesn't have ultimate available to him, however. The paralyzing spit from Quig is going to find the stun onto Heed, and that's all Layers is going to need to finish him off. Now, look at these health bars on a Hype Unit, however. I don't think they can push down this Phoenix.
Is this another reset? Are we going to go for yet another Fire Giant dance? I mean, we've got 40 to 50 seconds on a lot of the members of Elevate, but I don't even know if that's going to be enough time for Hype Unit to really find any advantage. on the fire giant. They're not going to be able to do it quite yet, man. We're seeing another reset around this fire giant dance, and this is just really due to all of the sustain coming out of Blugan. Can we see the player healing real quick? Because I just want to know, man, how much is he sustaining?
Well,
Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness, 2100? Blugan is going to have to force out that ultimate, though, is forced to, yet again, Quig ult isn't going to find anything, I don't think, and that's going to be the wash of that, but look at this now. Hype unit resetting for this fire giant. It's being melted. Elevate not in a position to find any sort of return. Half health. 1/3. Quarter. Giant is going to fall down now in favor of Hype unit. They've got it in tow. H-Bomber tries to find something, and Renjaro is fighting for his life in the backside. BennyQ is going to find Bomber, who overextended just a little bit. And look at these pings. Absolutely. Why is he all the way around there? He's trying to ult into something, but there are 4 people there. Who are you looking for? But the damage is evident. He's looking for everyone, and Sprint is going to facilitate that. Kill onto Layers is going to be good, and that's exactly the person that they want. Now, the knock-up on Quig is going to be even better. Might be able to find another kill, and that is exactly what Spreen is going to do. Double kill for the Raven, and now Elevate once again in the driver's seat.
Oh, the sustain from Blugan has been so good so far. 21,000 before that last fight, and now that they're out of combat, it's just going to be sustain on everybody else, and especially Heed, who's got all the health. And not only will he have from the Afro, but the Cupid as well, and there's just no response that can be made onto that tier 2 tower. And despite grabbing that enhanced fire giant, it's going to be the favor for Elevate. They're actually winning that fight. That's so crazy that they come out of that ahead. And that just goes to show you that once you get that fiery giant, you have to get out. And really, really great play there by Spreen to hop on in and try and push the advantage as far as possible. Because if it wasn't for him, that would have been an easy, clean sweep there for Hype Unit.
Absolutely, and like, Heat's positioning there was interesting, and it shouldn't have worked out, but it did. They just got super aggressive. I suppose Hype Unit didn't expect to see Heat, this giant squiddy boy, coming around the back of them going, hey, I know you just took Fire Giant, but I want to, like, kill you all now? Is that cool? And they're going, no. No thanks. And then the rest of Elevate hop in, and they're like, yeah, no, this is going to happen. You're all going to die now.
I mean, to be honest, they lost it on one of the members that is okay to lose it on. It sucks to lose it on Layers for sure, but BennyQ and Nay will still have this Fire Giant buff for the next 2 or so minutes, so at least they have that on their side, but I don't think they're going to be confident enough to push up to a Phoenix at this point. All towers on both sides are down, so it's all going to be about who finds the pick, and they could find one right now.
Neyu definitely looks like he's going to have a hard time getting out of this one. And a hard time, it doesn't even begin to describe it, as he's going to fall down already, and the second kill is already being picked up, and a third kill is already being picked up by Elevate, and that's going to be 2 members left alive on Hype Unit. This could be it, Lermy. They're storming down the left-hand side. The Phoenix looks like small bait compared to the powers of Renju and Spreen. I'm not really sure Quig and Cascade can do anything about it, and there it is. The surrender vote has gone through from Hype Unit. This could be it.
This could be, and they've got that Emperor's armor, which is going to help them shred through the Phoenix even faster, because it's just straight up not going to be doing damage. Sprint is popped, and the paralyzing spit does slow down Renjaro, but my guy, just walk up to the Titan and kill it. It's got 80% HP, but look how fast it's shredding.
The anti-heal is going to be good, and Renjaro is going to fall down, but it's not going to matter. As Elevate claim their first win of the phase. That is going to be their only win, though. Listen, they're late bloomers, but Elevate really showed their stuff here.
What an impressive set. I genuinely cannot believe how that went, just simply because we have never seen that team perform to that level before. They sincerely popped off this week. On some other, a whole team derived around destroying this Cthulhu could slow down Heed.
I mean, listen, as you said, we've not seen Elevate play to this standard, and I think my choice of pins tonight is perfect, because what we saw from Elevate is like day and night. Like, completely 2 sides of the same coin there. I would not have expected to see anything like this from Elevate, even last week.
I totally agree with you there. They impressed me so much this week. And honestly, I have to give huge props to Blugan because not only did he pop off in game number 1, but game number 2, his scoreline might not be that impressive. 1-5-14 certainly doesn't look too good, but once we get to those stats, oh my gosh, you will see how nutty this Afro is. I mean, just check out the healing. 25,500.
He healed for more damage than Spreen did. Let that sink in. He healed for more damage than Spreen, who, by the way, was like 12-3 that game. Right? And Blugan just healed up completely. Like, let's see, who's the nearest? Nayu? Wow. I just realized Nayu only did about 18k that game. So Blugan healed for like 10k, under half of Nayu's total damage. They may as well have not had a mid laner.
Honestly, though, Nayu was coming through pretty clutch with a lot of those apples and able to spread out people pretty effectively. I mean, that's 41,000 damage. You really can't scoff at that very much. But even still, it's nothing to match the 52,000 from Renjaro. And just honestly, every single member from Elevate did something incredibly well. We could highlight each and every one of them, but I think the biggest highlight is the win itself because, like you said, it's their first win.
Hey, congratulations for Elevate. They did an absolutely fantastic job. I mean, what else is there to say? We saw Spreen absolutely show up. Both of these games, Heed has had just a fantastic showing on this Cthulhu that, for some reason, Hype Unit have not wanted to ban away either game. This is why you banned Cthulhu?
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. You gotta ban Cthulhu, especially up against a powerhouse like Heed, and clearly, I mean, this is why you gotta get rid of him. There's no other way to describe it. When you're seeing Elevate up again in another one of your sets, just get rid of it.
Well, I mean, what else really is there to say about this set, Lermy? This is the last game of this phase of the SCC. That's it.
Yeah, but we will be going up into a LAN soon enough. That is going to be the top couple of teams in the SCC facing off against each other for a nice bit of money. So catch that in a couple of weeks. But until then, I think, you know, we got a very great game to close us out for.
Absolutely. I couldn't have asked for a better game, a better set to have watched there. Watching Elevate claw that first win that, a certain team in the SBL hasn't quite managed to do yet. But ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we are going to throw you out the door, I suppose. This has been it from the SCC. As Lemmy just said, we'll see you in a couple of weeks at playoffs. But ladies and gentlemen, I will see you soon. Don't forget, SMITE rocks.